All right, yo, what's going on, all my gamers, all my reaction gamers? Chat, I had a little bit more time before I had to go to work. Anyways, Disney does not want you to watch this. I don't know what this is about. You know, usually I have an idea of what the video is about, but this one is, I don't really know. I think it was K-pop Demon Hunters in the thumbnail. I don't know what that is. I haven't watched it yet. All I know is, God. All I know, and yes, this is real hate. I just know that ProZD is in the English dub. You know what I'm saying, chat? I mean, hey, if you like him, whatever. It is not, you know, anyway. You know what I'm saying? I'll study mine. Anyways.
Once upon a time, there were two original animated children's movies.
Okay.
Stay with me here. The first movie had
K-pop Demon Hunters isn't a child's movie, whatever movie is it? That can't be true.
everything going forward on paper. Big studio budget, several well-known actors, and a premise that was supposed to be safe.
Pixar is a adventure. What to know? I think I heard of this. Was it? No, maybe.
And marketable. The kind of film that normally gets prime advertising slots and Happy Meal toys. But during development, something went very wrong. Test audience.
It was originally gay. Pixar retooled the movie after a disastrous screening. It is this movie. Yeah, I heard about it. There was like a whole uproar about it. I don't know if it was an uproar because they changed it or there was an uproar and then they realized they had to change it or what it was. But I remember that this movie had some LGBT stuff in it. And because of that, it like bombed and was so poorly received in their screening that they had to like rush to fix it.
Audiences rejected it so completely that it failed its initial screenings by 100%. Yes,
dude,
actually 100%. And when it finally slumped into theaters after lots of changes, controversy followed it like a shadow. The second movie? Well, it took a different path entirely. Smaller budget, much more. The second movie?
Is this just KDA? Like, that's Akali, that's Kaisa, and I guess the last one would be Ari? Huh. Weird.
Well, it took a different path entirely. Smaller budget, much more accessible for families, less familiar faces, and a story that felt...
Oh, what is this? The inside? Hold on, let me just make this a little bit smaller so it's not covering her up. I don't edit these videos, so that's going to stay in. Inside the viral success of K-pop Demon Hunters, fashion, weird girls, great pop music.
Somehow even more niche. It was the kind of story that took universally loved themes and put an incredibly fun spin on them. But no one really expected anything crazy to come from it. Here's what's super interesting though. Neither film had much marketing. I don't think I saw a single
The only thing I know about K-pop Demon Hunters is the crony clip. And that is super funny. That is my beginning and end to knowing what this movie is, was Crony rolling her eyes when she was watching it with, I think it was Bae and Iris. It's really funny.
For either one of them. But
don't
then
you roll your eyes.
Something beautiful happened. Audiences fell in love with one of them regardless. We're talking millions of people sharing genuine excitement, the kind of organic momentum that you can't manufacture. One of these movies reminded me of my love for animated films and why it's my dream to be able to work on projects like this in the future. The other, it made me wonder what in the world has happened to the magic of this genre. That second movie, the one that swept me off my feet, that's K-pop Demon Hunters. And listen, I will just go ahead and confess, okay?
This literally is KDA. What the
I absolutely had no idea what this movie was about. As a very casual K-pop listener, the very first thing I ever saw in reference to this movie was a cosplay. Then I saw another, then another. So I finally sat down to check it out. And now, 3 viewings later, my social media algorithm is completely broken and I'm watching fan compilation videos at 2 a.m. No regrets. But here's the thing that hit me while I was in this completely unexpected spiral. I hadn't felt this way about an animated movie in years. I was sitting there smiling at my screen, humming along to the incredibly catchy songs, and then being genuinely...
I have, obviously, you know, if we're talking about, well, it depends on how animated we mean by animated. By an animated, not anime. The last one that I saw that was insanely hyped, and it did live up to the hype, would have been Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. right? Is it Across the Spider-Verse? Is that the second one? I watched that in theaters. I loved it. I loved every second of it. It was such a good movie. And I can't wait for them to finally try to make the last one. If the voice actor for Miles would stop getting into controversy, please, for the love of God, I just want to watch the movie. Please, we're tired, boss. Just let the movie happen. Stop getting into controversies. But I mean, if we're oh God, I'm trying to think of an anime movie, and I know which one comes to mind. The one that I'm thinking about that isn't a anime itself, isn't from a, what's the word I'm looking for? Isn't from a franchise, but is an original movie. Original movie would have been Suzume. No, actually, I don't know if that would count. I was gonna say the Miku Who Can't Sing. I love that one as well. I took my siblings to go watch that. They loved it. It was a little awkward because I had to like sift through the beginning without having. I was just like, oh God, this has to do with a gacha game, and it's like I don't know how to explain it to them that there's like all these Mikus, and I couldn't because we're in a theater, so we had to stay quiet. But there are a lot of, obviously, chat, when it comes to that kind of entertainment, you might as well go outside of American companies. That's all I'm saying, chat. That's neither here nor there. I loved it though. Suzume, in my opinion, I think Suzume was probably the weakest of the three, but it's still a gorgeous movie. And then, of course, I love the Miku Who Can't Sing.
We invested in these characters in a way that felt so natural and effortless. So let me tell you why this movie completely won me over, because honestly, it understands something that I think we've just forgotten across the board in storytelling, especially when it comes to animation. First of all, the animation itself. All of the lead characters are absolutely beautiful while being exaggerated, unique, and fun. Big expressive eyes, hair that moves like it has its own personality, magical girl action sequences that are over the top. They're allowed to be so feminine, silly, dramatic, strong, powerful, and cute all at the same time.
Oh, Chad, you know how they feel about all that. Chad, is that a marketable girl that'll probably bring in money and, make this franchise sell? Hey, they can't have that happen. Not in these trying times. Or at least, that's how it's been from what we've been seeing.
And the exaggeration adds to their likability instead of taking away from it. The character design philosophy is a breath of fresh air. Rumi, our female lead, isn't strong in that hollow girl boss way.
I really need to watch this now. She looks so silly in these. The expressions, just these stills alone, already has me hyped for this movie. It makes me kind of want to watch it, but I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to do it with a watch along, like with chat, but I don't know if I could do that. I don't know how I would do that. I've even tried to do that with like other stuff that I've been watching recently, but that's neither here nor there. Let's go.
Gotten so used to. Sometimes she's shy. Other times she's naturally funny, vulnerable, emotional, flirty, nurturing. She feels like a real girl who just happens to be dealing with supernatural stuff. And the romance, yes, romance, is genuinely cute. Remember when the Disney princess was just allowed to fall in love with the prince? Yeah, it's been almost 12 years since we've seen that. And
I don't know, like, obviously I can't really speak for the ladies out there. It feels like a lot of these girls aren't relatable in like the new girl bossy way, right? And even if they are relatable, you kind of don't want someone who's relatable to that. And as a guy, obviously, no matter how jacked or how unrealistic some guy looks, they still have qualities as to like what would make them relatable to you. Like a good example would be like Guts or Goku and stuff like that. Goku, who could probably bench press a planet. You can't really do that. It doesn't matter how many times you go to the gym or anything like that. But he just has such a relatability to him, especially to me because I'm also pretty dumb. We're both dumb, so it's like, it's just, I don't know where relatability went. That's what I want to know. You know what I'm saying? That's just something that I feel like is missing in all these new films and stuff like that. Or maybe I'm just getting old and it's just stuff that I don't want to watch anymore. I don't know.
Even then, it was very much a subplot. But both the male and the female lead of this movie get moments of just really simple, sweet, genuine interactions with each other. Jinu, the guy, is literally designed to be handsome, charismatic.
Jinu! That just reminded me of Sister Lovely.
And strong-willed without it being problematic.
Step
He's
brother.
not the joke, and his intelligence isn't dumbed down. He's just as strong and complex as Rumi, and their characters
That's
work
pretty
together so seamlessly. But here's what's really cool. When you look at the overarching themes of this movie, it brings you back to the basics. An objective good versus objective evil. Heroes who sacrifice for something greater, not just a story about finding yourself, redemption, and overcoming deep-rooted shame. All of this is wrapped up in a story about friendship and
Fictional
music.
K-pop bands beat BTS and Blackpink. And really? Did KDA or Heartsteel ever did that? I don't know. That's a good question.
That defeats demons. Music that's actually dominating streaming charts in real life and has already broken records. And the movie never stops to explain why you should care about any of this. It just shows you this beautiful world, lovable characters, and trusts you to buy in completely. Something else that struck me: this movie clearly respects its source material and its audience. It takes Korean storytelling traditions, K-pop culture, including its adoring fans, the universal themes I mentioned before, and magical elements, and treats them all with such genuine love and care. The end result of all of this? An incredible fandom literally forming overnight. I've seen people of all ages fall in love with these characters, cosplays getting millions of views, makeup tutorials, hair tutorials, real-life K-pop boy and girl bands have been recreating dances from the movie, and the internet is just eating.
Wait, who is that? Le Seraphim, New Beat. I don't know who the second people are. Well, I don't know. Chad, it's been a while since I've been in K-pop. I'm not gonna lie.
Because here's the thing: this feeling I had watching K-pop Demon Hunters, I used to have it all the time with most Disney movies. And I think that's what has made this experience feel so special and also kind of bittersweet. Just like my experience with Nintendo, although I definitely have not had a soft spot for Disney in quite a while. But again, I was a 90s baby who grew up on Disney movies. And for many years after that, I fully believed in their magic. There was even a period in my life when I would genuinely say, Pixar doesn't miss, and mean it with my whole heart. There was this stretch in the 90s through like 2010 where Disney movies just trusted their own formula. You know, Aladdin didn't need to pause a whole new world to discuss power dynamics. It just showed us two people discovering wonder together. Belle got excited about books and learning without making a statement about empowerment. Hercules was
this is such a side tangent. God, I don't remember what that song was, but that song took over TikTok as well. There was an anime of a like virtual world with a Beauty and the Beast like theme, and man, that was such a good movie as well. I think I took my sister to watch it.
Incredibly strong and heroic without feeling guilty about it, and Rapunzel could dream about floating lanterns without anyone questioning if her goals were big enough. The point is, these characters were extremely memorable, and so many of them taught and showed us important lessons. But here's the key: none of it was forced on the viewer, and they were genuinely fun to watch. Like, you wanted to hang out with them, you wanted to be them. And for me, I started seeing this shift after the success of Frozen. Disney started second-guessing everything that made them special. Princess love stories suddenly needed to be deconstructed or just removed entirely. Beauty became something to apologize for. Wonder became something that needed to be grounded in modern reality instead of just enjoyed.
I think just the whole, chat, it really just comes down to the basics of relatability. And what was the other one? What was the word I was looking for? God, I don't remember the other word. Oh, I'm so dumb, chat.
And that's what makes K-pop Demon Hunters feel so refreshing. It's not
I like this girl, chat. I said it. I really like this Akali girl.
That's what makes K-pop
Every time I see her, she's really silly. I don't know why. I really like the Akali girl.
Demon Hunters feel so refreshing. It's not trying to deconstruct anything. It's not apologizing for being magical, beautiful, romantic, or fun. It just is those things. And it not only allows, but encourages the viewer to really enjoy them. So what happened? How did we go from the old Disney magic to, well, what they're doing now? We see the industry give reason.
Oh, God. That one lady who... the CEO, what's her name? Nothing good has come from her. I know that much.
Of, well, audiences are too picky now. People just don't care about original.
Elio blamed the audiences and okay. Oh, there we go. Thank God. And I'm glad they had the analysts. It's just always, bro, it's always someone else telling you what you did wrong when it comes to these movies failing. It's never like the movie failed, or it's never maybe we should go back and try to do what used to work before everything went wrong. And, you know, try to figure out what really gets an actual audience. No, let's tell you why it's your fault, Chad. You know, you're the person to blame. You're what's the word? The jug. You're a jug, or you know, you're a chatet, or whatever the people like to say to people. It's always like blame someone else before they blame themselves. And honestly, I kind of wish I could live like that. That would be kind of nice, where I don't have to have any responsibility. It's always someone else's fault. It honestly sounds kind of fun. It sounds like a very stress-free life. Sorry, I don't know if I can say that.
IP anymore. The theater is too expensive. And while I'm not denying that some of those things can contribute, the industry and its critics continue to
Chat, even if it was cheaper, some people wouldn't go watch it. I went to go watch Jurassic World, the new one. I don't care how cheap it was. That's not gonna make the movie good. My sister paid for my ticket. She took me with her because she wanted to go watch it. I told her, sure, I'll go with you. That was the biggest piece of dog shit I've ever watched. The dinosaurs look kind of cool. I'll say that. You know, modern day technology makes the dinosaurs look cool. Man, that story was not good. It was very not good. Everyone, I mean, like they couldn't figure out a tone. I couldn't figure out what the hell a lot of the people were doing there. Some of the guys were just on a trip. It's such a bad movie.
Disregard the big elephant in the room. For years now, mainstream entertainment
it seems like
has
kids
become
enjoy it. I don't
more
know.
about correcting and grounding the audience instead of just entertaining them. Writers are more interested in cramming in modern ideology they find important, often accompanied by bad or lazy writing, rather
Oh
than
my god, bro. I hate when people want to do that. Why do you need to put it in your games or in your movies because you think it's important? I don't know how to tell you this. You're not going to watch this movie. You're not going to be the one to single-handedly finance the profits of this movie. And the people who, I'm not going to lie, the people who they pander to, they're also not going to be the ones buying this stuff. Just check Dragon Age: The Veilguard, check Assassin's Creed Shadows, check Concord. No one really wants this stuff, and yet it's always being forced on us. And no one figures out that it doesn't work. I've not figured out why. I don't think anyone's figured out why, but here we are.
just telling a great story and making us care about characters organically.
It's always the Jug's fault, chat.
And you know what's interesting? The box office doesn't lie. We have financial proof of what's working and what isn't. Take the Snow White remake as the perfect example. They took a story about finding beauty in unexpected places and apologized for all of it. The lead actress publicly criticized the original. They used CGI dwarves. Heavily removed the romance and made sure to supplement with all the girl boss messaging. They lost $115 million.
Chat, you want to know a good girl boss messaging for actual Snow White? Chat, you don't even need to have that Snow White. And I don't even want them to do this because I know it would go terribly. But if you ever want a Snow White that is actually, hold on, let me grab this image real fast. If you really want a badass Snow White, let me grab this tab. Oh god, why don't you just look at this Snow White? I would much rather have this Snow White have her own movie that's probably gonna fail because people don't know how to market. But like, dude, she is so cool. This is Snow White from Nikkei. I would much rather have this Snow White than that remake Snow White. She's probably one of my favorite characters, too. I love that Snow White. And she's a girl boss. She's really badass. It's really cool.
Something that took everything people loved about the original and stomp all over it. Or what about the movie Wish, their big 100-year celebration movie? It lost them $130 million. This was supposed to be their triumphant moment, and instead it became something completely forgettable. Strange World lost over $100 million due to a...
Who is making these movies, bro? I've never heard of this movie. What was this movie's premise? I'm not gonna lie, it kind of looks like Jumanji. This would be like if they animated Jumanji. I feel like this is what it would look like.
A whole mix of things, including forced, heavy-handed messaging, and
Pixar's Elio. Oh, sorry.
latest movie, Elio, is essentially following down the same path. To be completely honest, at this point, I'm pretty done with Disney, Pixar, and just Hollywood in general, because on top of all the low quality stories, forced messaging, and modernized regurgitations, so many studios have stopped respecting their old formulas and source material entirely. Whether it's classic fairy tales, books, beloved games, or even their own previously successful properties, there's almost this contempt for
Palpatine
the
returned.
original.
Oh.
This attitude of we know better, and we
funny.
keep seeing it in the live action remakes and
God.
unnecessary sequels. They keep taking old things that worked and making them worse. But even though it's technically part of these industries, I still have hope for original animation being created at least somewhat outside the main machine. Because it's not just K-pop demon hunters. Sony also figured it out with movies like Spider-Verse and Wish Dragon, which
Dude, the Spider-Verse movies are so good.
actually was written and directed by one of the same people behind Demon Hunters. Even more mature animation like Arcane saw huge success, even though unfortunately for Riot, it still wasn't enough for more people to join League of Legends. And that
Well, yeah. You just put out a TV show. You didn't fix the game. How the hell did they expect this to make more people come to the game? You didn't fix the game. Bro, the game still sucks. The game is getting worse every year. And they had to put 2 regions together because that's how little players they had. Why not? Oh shit. I mean, if I were to, I don't know, spitball here, why not? I don't know, balance the characters, make the game fun again, put out cool game modes and events. Maybe that might save your game, but maybe not. Anyways, chat, we're looking out for 2XKO. Hopefully that game comes out soon before Riot goes under.
and even more niche films like Flow and The Boy and the Heron. Yes, it's anime, but they prove that unique, thoughtful storytelling still works. Other anime like Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, Frieren, they're breaking records because they prioritize making you care about characters first. And they expose the fact that so many studios have
I need to catch up on Demon Slayer. I just, I don't know why I don't do it. I finished JJK the entire series on the manga, and Frieren has got to be probably the best anime in the past decade. Like it dog walks everything.
Gotten this critical thing. Movies, shows, and games are inherently supposed to be entertaining. When you respect your audience and create with them in mind, they will show up. Clearly, they'll buy tickets, they'll create fan art, they'll cosplay, they'll watch movies 3 times and post it.
I think that's also really cool. And probably a sign of something going really well is if people start cosplaying it and putting like content out about it, right? I think that's just always nowadays going to be the sign that things are going to go very well. And especially if it's people that they didn't have to get themselves, but it's just people that do it voluntarily. I think that is always just going to be a good sign of things going well for your
it. And all
IP.
of this brings me to why I think we might be witnessing something.
Holy chat. I cannot tell you how many people I saw cosplaying Hoyoverse games, not just Genshin Impact this time. Now it was split up a little bit more between, actually, believe it or not, there was not a lot of Genshin cosplayers at Anime Expo this year. It was more split up between Honkai Star Rail and Zenless Zone Zero. There was a lot of the Herdas. And then there was also a lot of, I think, Ellen Jo's. Was it Ellen Jo that I saw the most? Or Belle, your sister wife. People who play Zenless will get that joke, but it's like, I'm trying to think who was the most from Zenless. It's hard to say, but yeah, dude, this is how you know that that game has taken over, or that company has taken over.
Pretty important here. K-pop Demon Hunters is not a fluke. It's proof that original IP success is still possible when you offer high-quality storytelling and escape instead of cramming it full of poorly executed modern ideologies, complete disrespect for source material, or past successes that audiences love, or just plain bad, low quality, or lazy writing. When creators remember that entertainment, beauty, wonder, love aren't dirty words, when they trust their audiences to be smart enough to find meaning in well-told stories, when they celebrate traditional values and relationships instead of apologizing for them, that's when magic happens. This movie reminded me how much I missed just enjoying something. Characters who actually liked each other, characters who fought.
I'm not gonna lie, as I watch the choreography, all I'm thinking about is that one KDA song and don't let sorry, go ahead.
For things outside of something self-serving, and beautiful, attractive designs meant for the spotlight and celebration instead of modernization and punishment. Success looks like stories that allow you to escape real life and make you feel something real. When characters are likable and relatable, when the story is genuinely entertaining, when you trust your audience to have fun, that's when people beg for sequels. That's when you know you've created something that matters. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video.
Yeah,
and I'd love to hear from you. Are you a watcher of animation or anime?
Yes.
If so, please drop some of your favorites from late. I would love to check them out. Thanks again for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.
Oh gosh, chat. I'm not gonna lie. I've been watching some corpo propaganda with a VTuber legend. It's actually really, really funny, and it makes me feel like this is what they're using to convince people to join corpo companies for VTubing, because it makes it look so much fun. But man, what are some of my favorite animations? For movies specifically, obviously you have the trilogy that I love from the one director. You have Your Name, Weathering with You, and Suzume. If you guys want to know my order for that, it would be Your Name, Weathering with You, and then Suzume. I think Suzume, unfortunately, it kind of fell a little bit flat in terms of the story, but it's still such a beautiful anime. A Silent Voice, I actually read it. I read it 1 week, and then I think a few weeks later the movie was announced, which I was super hyped about. I loved it as well. For animes specifically, man, I'm a big what do you call it? I try to watch anything that I can. So I've been, like I said, I've been watching VTuber Legend. I want to watch Uma Musume next, chat. I can't wait. Uma Musume is going to be next. Frieren is obviously a top tier one. If you guys want to know my favorite standalone anime besides Frieren, it's probably going to be God, what is it? Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Anyways, that's neither here nor there, chat. I could go on listing any kind of my favorite animes, but I don't want to be here all night and I got to go to work. Anyways, chat, comment, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you gamers in the next one. Bye.